Yeah, good morning. Just once again, I'm Josh Strupp.
I'm Myles.
Margeaux, Abrams.
I'm Nick Long.
And we are the rival. So in 2013, I noticed something. Here at GW, students weren't really reading the student publication, the campus publication here at GW. It's sort of boring and dry and sort of stylistically outdated. It went the way of old media. So on March 27th, 2014, we launched the rival to 5,000 unique users on its first day. We feature a variety of content which we feel millennials really like, from hard-hitting investigative pieces, political satire, listicles of things to do around DC, and even entertainment pieces that are in blog style. So we really felt like we connected with our audience and truly understood them more than the traditional student publication.
At GW, we launched a beta site of alternative news for the 10,000 undergraduate student population. We've created a fully operational business consisting of 50 unpaid student employees. Since March of 2014, we've accumulated over 355,000 page views from 100,000 users, with 10,000 regular users a month. That being said, with our aggressive social media marketing and the organic student network, we've been able to accumulate an extra 90,000 eyes. This is only at one small school. Let's take a look at the rest.
In the rest of the country, there are over 21 million college students in the United States. Only 13% have access to a student publication. Of this small percentage, advertisers are forced to reach one campus rather than reaching the entire potential market. These student publications, as we found at GW across the nation, are extremely outdated in the same way we found here. They lack the functionality and engagement online and variety that students have come to expect. So what we offer is a benefit to both of our customer segments that will greatly improve upon the current scenario. Firstly, for students, we want to offer our style of news and entertainment for and by students. We want to offer an opportunity for students to buy and sell goods like textbooks or concert tickets, whatever a student may need, or offer services like a cleaning service, a laundry service, a day to a formal, whatever it may be. And thirdly, we want to offer a place for students to create a campus-centric discourse, a social media service just for their campus online. These three features will come together to truly make it an online community for students. To advertisers, we want to offer the opportunity to target one campus, to geo-target a cluster of campuses in a geographic location, or to reach millions of students across the nation by advertising at upwards of 100 or even 200 campuses.
Alternative digital media is thriving. Websites have found a way to capitalize on new trends in digital advertisements and journalism. For example, the Huffington Post. The Huffington Post hits big headlines with topics ranging from gay rights to politics and more. Next is BuzzFeed. BuzzFeed revolutionized native advertisements and receives over 2.4 million views a day. And last is Vice. Vice is a hard-hitting news publication which was recently just valued at $1.4 billion. These journalistic trends do not exist on a college level. This is what exists on a college level. Our goal as the rival staff is to modernize campus journalism and bring it to all colleges across the nation.
In order to enter our market, we hope to hold 5 informational conferences at accredited journalism schools across the nation. In our first year, we'd like to go to Boston University, Syracuse University, New York University, American University, and University of Southern California.
Only a small percentage of students at these universities actually write for their official campus publication. The Rival offers a fun and progressive take on campus journalism that we have found really interests a lot of readers and will interest a lot of writers that might not want to write for their traditional publication. Once we find passionate student editors and writers, we will go in, train them on how to use the site. We will implement our brand and marketing standards. We will set up a feedback loop with Rival HQ. And of course, we'll leave them with a milestone system to ensure that they can launch their rival campus successfully on a local level.
It is important to note that we are a business completely independent from the universities. We will not be using their logos or trademark materials. Upon expanding to other campuses, we will not be franchising our site. We will deliver a free platform.
What we're delivering to these campuses are 3 distinct features that truly make it an online community for students. The first is our classic news and entertainment platform. Created and edited by students, it features popular and trending content on campus. You can even see what your friends have read that day. These are actually 2 flash pages from our site a couple of days ago on mobile and desktop. And actually, if you'll see here on the bottom of our desktop version right now, we actually have an advertisement for this very competition. The second feature is the Exchange. The Exchange is an online sales emporium that sets up a local student economy for students at one campus. It requires a .edu email address to log in. Students can safely and efficiently exchange goods and services with each other all on a local level. They can do so efficiently using an internal payment system. They can even shop around for something that students really need, internship and job opportunities. And third is the board. The board is a social media crowdsourcing service that allows students to post anything they like. They can get a poll, or they can put forward a poll and ask their fellow students a question. They can issue an opinion. They can post pictures of what's happening on campus, really create a truly campus-centric discourse. They can up or downvote things that they like or dislike. They can share posts with friends. They can even see what's trending on other campuses nationwide. These three features come together to truly make an online community for students where they can learn, engage, buy, and sell from each other in one convenient location.
In February, we surveyed 315 students at GW and 151 students at over 50 other universities. Here at GW, we found that 25% of survey respondents were satisfied or extremely satisfied with the official student newspaper, while 64% were satisfied or extremely satisfied with the rival. For those other schools who reported having an alternative news source, we found they were 20% less satisfied with their alternative news source than those here at GW. 84% of survey respondents said they were interested or extremely interested in using the exchange, and 46% said yes or maybe to paying a nominal fee to make an exchange. 60% of survey respondents said they were likely or extremely likely to use the board, despite almost all of them already having one or more social media profiles. The Rival's three platforms place us in three distinct industries: news, e-commerce, and social media. For news, there are only 713 official student newspapers in the United States, serving only 13% of the total student population. For e-commerce, students have $417 billion in spending power each year, 40% of which is spent on discretionary costs like clothing, technology, and entertainment. This is not including things like school supplies. For social media, 75% of millennials spend an hour or more a day on social networks. In 2014, 52% of internet users reported having 2 or more social media profiles, up 10% from 2013. Our target demographic is increasingly willing to have and create more than one social media profile.
We believe our competition to be campus-specific. On the news level, there exist student publications like the GW Hatchet, which restrict themselves to specific campuses, thus also restricting their advertising reach. In terms of in terms of e-commerce, we consider campus bookstores to be our main competition. They're notoriously far from student housing, and they have very high prices on discretionary goods and textbooks. E-commerce, the Rivals Exchange will be able to provide students with a far quicker delivery system as well as fairer prices. Exchange will be faster delivery than Amazon Prime, as well as safer than meeting up with a stranger on Craigslist. In terms of social media, Snapchat's Campus Story has emerged as a major social media facilitator for students to share photos and videos specific to a campus or location. The board will provide students with this same audience and functionality. Facebook in the mid-2000s, when it expanded to become available to everyone besides just campuses, a lot of people felt like it lost its distinctive college community. We feel like with the board we can bring back that distinctive, exclusive community. The Rival will make money through twofold effort: advertising revenues and a nominal percentage fee taken from exchange sales. All of our following numbers are projected from the bottom up. We've based them off of our already accrued statistics on our site. Our advertising kit will consist of variable pricing options based off of the type of ad space available, as well as the projected number of schools that we expect to hit by the end of each year. Additionally, it will be based off of whether an advertiser would like to run their ad on a local or a national basis to multiple schools. Based off of these numbers, we expect to grow exponentially to $129 million in year 5. This is also based off of if we are able to hit our goal capacities of the actual ad space that we're able to fill on our site, which are incrementally increasing every year. As we mentioned before, the annual spending power of students is $417 billion, 40% of which is discretionary. And if you take away roughly $65 billion that students spend on food and surprisingly car expenditures, you're left with $103.8 billion to spend. For the 21 million students in the United States, that leaves just under $5,000 per student. We believe that because we're looking at just a target market of students, not the entire nation, we can capture up to 5% of that, which is $247 a year or just $20 a month. With 4% per purchase exchange fee, we believe our exchange revenue numbers can be as high as $37 million in year 5. Here you'll see our income statement with the progression of our revenue streams across the top, as well as our cost of sales. Our SG&A costs will consist of staffing expenses, marketing expenses, property expenses, and expenses that we have set aside for an intellectual property attorney. Our research and development costs will consist mainly of web development costs in the first couple of years, which will be disproportionately higher as we look to put forward our most valuable product. Based off of all these numbers, we look to break even. We expect to break even towards the end of year 3.
So in conclusion, we want to revolutionize the way students interact with each other online, engage with the student economy, and read campus news and entertainment. We want to offer to advertisers an opportunity to target one campus as they currently can or reach millions of students across the nation. 3 of us are graduating in May, and we're ready to work full-time on this. We've proven that we're extremely passionate and dedicated, and have proven success by working on a beta project for over a year now. With the $35,000 winnings, we will begin development on our most viable rival product, and we ask for an initial investment of $200,000 over the span of 6 months in order to finalize development and to begin expanding to new campuses. A network of alternative news and entertainment publications across the nation does not exist. A sales emporium, an online sales emporium where students can exchange just what they need safely with their classmates on a local level, does not exist. And a social media service that allows students to create a campus-centric discourse in a whole new way, see what's trending on their campus and campuses across the nation, does not exist. Now it can. Help us modernize campus journalism and give students the online community that they've always wanted. Thank you. Yes.
Pretty good pitch.
Thank you.
Thanks. Could you go into a little more detail about your customer discovery with advertisers?
Yeah, sure. So you mean the advertisers we currently have or how we're going to reach advertisers?
What you did to determine that advertisers would advertise in your product.
Right, so all of our numbers for advertising are based on the ground up of the advertising revenue that we've already gained through our site over the last year. And then we've increased that incrementally over time, depending on how many schools we actually reach over the span of our 5-year projections.
I meant detail about
How we got to the ones right now.
spoke to with advertisers, what they told
Myles,
you, what the evidence is that you have that it's a viable advertising vehicle.
Well, I mean, we went from local businesses and approached these businesses and got these numbers through the amount that we received this in the first year.
So you extrapolated from
Yeah.
what you have.
Correct.
Exactly.
And when we approach these businesses, we would basically say to them, we reach X amount of students, we receive 10,000 users a month. The 18 to 24 demographic is sometimes difficult for a lot of local businesses and much larger businesses to reach, and we offer a lot of businesses this audience.
And finally, did you talk to national brands at all?
We have not yet, but we sure hope to soon.
Could you help me understand your model, how it impacts the local university campus bookstore? In other words, is the bookstore net loss of revenue or income take away some sort of economics from the university, and how would their competitive response be to your success? So help me understand how these current models work now that you're playing pickup ball from, and what the impact will be to them. Are they partners, adversaries? What is it?
So
I add the newspapers to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so in terms of exchange, we obviously haven't launched anything yet, so we don't know the exact details of what the results will be, but we don't consider anyone to be our adversaries per se. So campus bookstores, for instance, the one thing we're trying to take advantage of is their high prices, their marked up prices, as well as how far and inconvenient they are for a lot of students. So some of the similar goods that we would be able to offer would be for a quicker delivery, as well as like a fairer, more market-based price. So whether a student wants to accept that or walk the extra 6 blocks to the bookstore is their choice.
So like overuse of textbooks, teachers use the same textbooks every year for at least a couple of years. So kids would be able to get these textbooks at a much marked down price, as well as being able, say like other campuses are beach towns, they want to get bathing suits or other clothes or a surfboard. They're going to be able to go on the Rival and see what other students are going to be selling and buying from the local students.
Yeah, so Exchange has an opportunity to be very campus specific. So a California school is going to advertise different types of goods on Exchange than the
New York
University
City
of Michigan.
schools. New York.
How you deliver the goods faster? You mentioned like Amazon Prime. Like I just ordered something yesterday and I got it this morning. So how
Right.
do you guys compete with that?
So our plan is to have like a very efficient delivery system, just in the same way that we're able to find student employees for our news portion of the website. We hope to be able to find student employees that work for maybe a commission of a delivery fee. And seeing as everyone is on one campus location, we expect that to be very efficient and quick.
And I just want to take a moment to recognize the question you had. If we created an adversarial relationship with a student newspaper, just to use here at GW, it's not an adversarial relationship. We kind of recognize each other. I think we have very different audiences. If you'll go onto our site and then you'll go onto the Hatchet site, you'll see very different content, both that interests a certain demographic of the student population. But the Hatchet, something like the Hatchet exists on a lot of campuses, whereas the Rival does not. Nor does it actually exist in a network capacity to where you could actually allow advertisers to reach a much larger audience, millions of students.
So the Hatchet actually has, the Hatchet actually has an advertisement of a car dealership from my hometown, which I'm pretty sure majority of the GW students are not going to be clicking on to purchase a $100,000 car at BMW or Mercedes.
In New Jersey.
In New Jersey.
My provocation comes around mostly state schools that have, you know, like you take the Ohio State University that actually has somewhere in the order of 100,000 students in its system recognized, let alone the part-time and the more distant learners. And from that standpoint, they have a pretty significant network and a pretty decent newspaper. And so I wonder how you're going to think about this in comparison with that, particularly because you're going to have to create a behavioral change, right? I have to create a new login. I have to remember to click on that login. I have to remember the password. Well, I already have to do that for Blackboard and all the other university websites. How are you going to manage for that?
Sure. So there won't be a login to actually access the news. You might have to create, we'll make a very, very brief login in order to do the social media and the e-commerce functions. But as far as news goes, it's the moment you click enter, you got news for free right there in front of you.
So in the last 10 years, 30% of all newspapers have gone digital. In the next 10 years, every newspaper will go digital. The Hatchet, the Crimson. So your competition is not likely to be the paper, but the campus digital newspaper.
Correct.
Is the Hatchet digital today?
The Hatchet's online, but it's not the medium we're worried about. It's the style of news and the extra features that we actually offer to students. We're going beyond news. News is just a vehicle in order to get students to come onto this site. It really does create an online community, sets up a student economy, allows students to interact in a whole new way. So news is the vehicle, and yes, while a lot of newspapers will catch up with what we've done, which is just create a digital-first newspaper, we believe that we will beat out their competition by going further and giving students even more things that they want and need.
Did I miss it in your survey of the students? Did you ask them what kind of things would get you to switch? And then they answered that question?
We did not ask them what kind of things would get them to switch, but whether they read the Rival or the Hatchet or both.
Okay.
Alternatively, at other schools, we asked them if they had an alternative news source, if they read that more or less than the official state news.
Right.
So following up on Wayne's question, so what problem are you solving? And what problem will you start with? So you look at all the businesses that have succeeded in the space you're focused on, they solve one problem. Facebook was all about how do I find somebody of my interest. So in your case, what's the one problem that you're going to start with to get people to say, I'm going to get online with Rival?
I think we would solve the problem on a lot of campuses where students are saying, why don't I enjoy my news? Why is it difficult for me to go onto my student publication and enjoy what I'm reading? Why can't I relate to it? I think that's one thing. Nick mentioned this earlier. As far as e-commerce goes, as far as social media goes, one thing that students have sort of missed is this campus-specific social media source. So when Facebook expanded, you're right, they solved a problem first for a college campus, and then they alienated a college campus. So I wouldn't even say that we're moving backwards. We're just addressing a problem that Facebook left behind. And then as far as e-commerce goes, the problem we're solving is, I think it's actually more of a want than a need or a problem for students in e-commerce. Because when we surveyed a lot of people, students said, I would love to exchange things with people with students on my campus. There'd be a lot of really fun things and also things that I actually need, whether it be academic or discretionary, on exchange. They seem to really like this idea and would enjoy it and would definitely use it.
And then just touching on...
Thank you. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.